Restless Breed even had new members. All right.
I think the constant changing members is what kept them from being what they could have been.
Yeah, I don't think that helps. All right, this is definitely mega classic right here. Just looking for the song list. Burning Sky by Bad Company. The title track, you know, it's worth the price of admission alone. Great classic Bad Company cut. Deeper tracks on here. I can't remember them all, so I'm trying to find the damn list. It's only on the label. All right, we got Burning Sky, Morning Sun, Leaving You Like Water, Everything I Need, Heartbeat, Peace of Mind, Passing Time, Too Bad, Man Needs Woman, and Master Ceremony. Burning Sky was really the only hit off of it. I mean, Bad Company is one of those bands that they have a sound that I love the sound, so that I'll pretty much like almost anything they play because it's consistent.
Especially the 70s stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's I don't know. For me, that album is one of those albums that doesn't have all the hits, so I kind of like it because of that.
But the title
it's
track,
kind of like AC/DC's Power Rage. You know,
yeah, that's my favorite.
It's not packed full of hits, yet it still has the meat and potatoes of their sound, and that's what you got with this Bad Company record. So it's just, if I want to hear it, I don't rarely ever pull out the first Bad Company record.
And that's like nothing but hits.
Right.
It's like the whole, like half the album is a hit.
You could just slap a Greatest Hits logo on it and release it, and you'd be all right. So anyhow, my next one up. This band released 2 albums this year too, but one of them is later on in the list, so we're going to do this one by itself.
Yep.
This
was a big one.
This album dominated me in the 70s.
Oh.
I mean, absolutely dominated my
Were you in 3rd grade when it came out, basically?
Yeah, I was in grade school, yeah. And I mean...
Or 4th grade. 4th grade.
Kiss Alive 2. I mean, come on. This album just took everybody. I mean, in America.
Yeah.
Those pictures, I mean...
The pictures are iconic, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at it now, and the picture of Gene, the blood, you can see that some of it is actually colored in by hand.
Oh, there's all kinds of mistakes. There's all kinds of mistakes on this. Because back then, photo retouching was a whole different game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at it, and it's like, man, they just added bits of that blood in places to make it look different.
But, yeah.
We got to go into the inserts, because there's a ton of them in here.
But they just, I mean, the sound here, it was so freaking heavy. It was all songs from the 3 albums that preceded it. None of the early material was on there.
Show them the gatefold.
And then side 4 of this was all studio material.
Yes, which I loved side 4. Now, is that friggin' iconic or what? My buddy Chris Jelinek, he lives and dies by that shot. He loves that picture.
Well, I mean, who did a show quite like that?
Who does a show like that ever?
Yeah.
But them. I mean,
it's funny because now you hear all the stories about how crazy these lifts were, and you know they're all falling off of them, and but this album is just great.
So this album probably had the most inserts of everything. Maybe between this one and the originals.
Oh, the originals, yeah.
I
Probably.
mean, we got the order form. The Kiss Army Wants You with that year's.
And if you're a real Kiss fan, you can't own a Kiss record without the order form.
You got to have the order forms. You got to.
Of course, if you were a real Kiss fan, you probably ordered this stuff, right?
I tried. I didn't have any money to order that stuff. I've still got a set of the tattoos.
Yeah, I got them too.
Admittedly, you know what though? My original Live 2 that I got did not have these.
Oh, mine came with it.
It had the booklet and the order form.
I think I used
tattoos.
I put them on my arm.
So I got these much later. These have never been opened. As far as like, this is like my 3rd round of Kiss albums with all the inserts. Once I became an adult and I realized, oh, you got to keep that stuff nice. I think I hit eBay, and so all the tattoos are still there, and it's in the wax paper that it originally came.
But it was the booklet.
Yeah, the booklet was always the thing, and it looks like I have 2.
Sweet.
Huh. So yeah, I mean the booklet that came in Alive, which Alive to me was the ultimate Kiss. It was the first one I got into. It was the reason I fell in love with them.
Major rephoto touching error in the center spread.
Oh really?
Major. I always thought it was hilarious.
Which one?
So this original shot here doesn't have Peter Criss in the shot. He was way off to the left more.
All right.
So they took the microphone here and cut this part in. So if you look to the top portion of the, follow the mic up.
Yeah.
And what's right there? Paul Stanley's headstock.
Ha! I never noticed that. Whoa!
Yep. So you see the Ibanez headstock sitting right, just floating there.
You're right, man.
It's right there, just floating.
I mean, they cut it in pretty good here. All that looks great, but and I wouldn't have caught that. I never saw that. That's awesome.
But the other thing that gives it away kind of a little bit is the stage is warped to make it line up here. And all of a sudden it just warps down. But
yeah,
the big thing is that headstock just floating there by itself.
Oh, totally. And if you didn't know it was there, you would miss it because it just kind of blends
in with the drum set. Yeah. But
That's
I love
freaking
again.
awesome.
This is another thing when I was a kid. This booklet.
Oh yeah.
I could listen to this album and stare at this booklet for hours.
And it's got the great. It's got the the progression of what they looked like from '73 on, which it just as a kid being a Kiss fan, I feel like I like it that I grew up with Kiss. You know, for better or for worse. Maybe some of the ideas I picked up on from them weren't the greatest. That helped me later on in life, but still, it was a lot of fun. I never even got to see Kiss as a kid.
Not this.
I didn't get to see Kiss until I was until 2009.
Oh, I saw
when it was only half of Kiss was left. It was my first opportunity to see them.
Yeah, I saw them in the '80s, but I never got to see this. The other thing we need to talk about real quick is side 4 is all studio cuts.
Yes,
the band
great cuts.
Actually, although people thought they were all united, but they were in turmoil right here. They were fighting. They
Ace has his one song, and that might
Rocket
be the
Ride.
only song that
and
he
that's
actually played on.
And that is actually one of the only singles that did anything off this record.
Yeah.
And that actually was not recorded for this album. He didn't actually record that song for this album. He recorded it for his solo album. But they needed a song for him, so he gave this song to Kiss, and they used it. And so it's not even Kiss playing on the song, as I recall. It's actually the guys on the solo album.
I know that Bob Kulick is the lead guitarist on most of the tracks. What are you doing? Get out of here.
Yeah. So, and I don't think Ace plays on any of the other songs.
Probably not. All American Man is a total Paul song. Rockin' in the USA and Larger Than Life.
And Any Way You Want It is a
Dave Clark
5 song.
Yep. All right. Oh, this was a great album. Still is a great album.
But if you like this band in the late '70s, you got made fun of.
I don't know why, man. Because I can understand why, like when...
well, it's in the early '80s. That's why.
Yeah, Stix, Grand Illusion. I think... Well, I mean, Stix started off as super progressive band from Chicago. The first 4 albums were so just kind of out there. They didn't do a whole lot.
The Wooden Nickel Records?
Yep, Wooden Nickel Records. But then when there was one hit, the Lady single from Stix 2.
Which is unfortunate because that's kind of what forced them into the direction they took.
Right. Which, I don't mind it. I love their sound. I love their sound all the way up to Paradise Theater.
Yep.
Now, it was after that, then they started getting a little bit goofy.
Then they started getting into I don't know what.
When Kilroy Was Here came out, Mr. Roboto, I remember it coming out because I was psyched. I loved Paradise Theater. I'm like, couldn't wait for the new Stix album. It comes out and, don't worry, gato, Mr. Roboto. And I'm like, this sucks! There was nothing on that album I liked. And I never owned it. I still don't own a copy of it. But Grand Illusion, totally different story. Man, am I getting off on a rabbit trail. This whole album, it's kind of a loose, it's not really a concept album, but it kind of half is. It's basically just about the whole, kind of like the trappings of fame, and people get all caught up in it, and it's not really real, just a grand illusion. Probably one of my favorite Stix cuts is on here. One of the heaviest ones is Miss America. What a great, it's a James Young song, and just, grrr, it's got a wicked riff in it, and just a lot of snarl, and love that tune. But this also got the huge hit, Come Sail Away.
Great song.
Which, you know.
For some reason, when I was a kid, though, I always mixed that song reminded me of Kansas. I always mixed it up.
Yeah, and I mean, Stix and Kansas are 2 of the premier American progressive rock bands.
Back then,
I can see that. But and then, of course, Eric Cartman made his cover, and that just kind of blew the whole thing out of the water.
Yep.
The South Park version of Come Sail Away. Which is freaking hilarious if you haven't heard it. So yeah, great cover, cool art on the cover. I remember just staring at this one when I was a kid thinking Stix were so damn cool. Like, wow, what a trip this is. I wonder if they take LSD.
My next one, this is a fantastic album.
Oh yeah, it is.
This is, and I'm not just surprised, neither one of us had this listed in our top 10.
I think as a whole, I mean, it's got a couple of songs that are like iconic for me, but as a whole, I wouldn't put it
I love this album as a whole, but it's just obviously Heart.
Little Queen.
Little Queen.
It's got what probably is their signature track,
Barracuda.
Yeah.
And
a
me,
deeper cut, Love Alive.
It's very much Led Zeppelin-like in that it's all over the musical scale, from very light and acoustic to very heavy, like Barracuda.
And Ann and Nancy Wilson will make no bones that they love Led Zeppelin. There's just no...
And you can hear it in this. I mean, but it's very organic sounding. That's what I like.
Yes.
Queen in the 80s got very plastic sounding, but here it was very organic, very earthy, and I love that.
You said Queen. Did you mean to say Heart?
Sorry.
Both bands did that.
Yes.
I mean, Heart probably had arguably their biggest success in the 80s with all that stuff they did. But for me, it's this stuff. Everything that was like prior to 82.
Yeah.
I loved.
But yeah, it's just, the whole album is just great.
Yeah.
Kick It Out, that's a killer song.
Kick It Out is a great too.
Little Queen, her vocals are just otherworldly.
Love Alive is a great deeper cut.
Yep.
It's a bit longer. It's a great song.
I always like the cover and the back cover too.
It is. It is. It's very cool. It's like it's got them in like a Renaissance setting, and
they were never, at least back then, they were never hard on the eyes. I mean,
no,
so
not at all.
Yeah, great album.
And you see Heart now, they still sound so good.
Yep.
Ann Wilson has not lost her voice.
And she's still
one iota.
Actually, no, Nancy's touring right now as Heart's Nancy Wilson. That's what she's touring.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I know Ann has been doing a lot of solo stuff lately too. Yeah. So yeah, Heart, great band. Much respect for them. Love Heart.
You're up.
All right.
This one.
Yeah. Tragic one.
But on a great iconic album.
Yes, absolutely. Leonard Skinner, Street Survivors.
Yep.
The pre-plane crash
cover,
Fire cover, which was later recalled because of, let's see, on the plane crash we lost Ronnie Van Zant, Steve Gaines, Cassie Gaines, which was Steve's sister.
Yep.
And I want to say there was one more.
Yes, I believe too. And then the other girl singer, she wasn't on the plane. I can't remember why.
There were three of them. Was it one of the other singers, or were there only two?
I thought there were only two. I don't know, but I just know that the other singer is now tours churches, and she's a Christian, and she tells basically the story of what happened, and how she really feels that God protected her because for whatever reason, I remember she couldn't get on the plane.
Okay.
And
yeah, and there was something. There's all kinds of other stories about that day that plane actually.
But that plane was
supposed to be Aerosmith's plane.
And Aerosmith's pilot said, "I'm not flying that hunk of crap. And then Aerosmith wouldn't fly unless they had that pilot. So it was for them.
So that could have very well changed the course of history.
Very well could have been. It was supposed to be. So they passed, and then Skinner's management or whoever, I'm sure it wasn't the band, bought the plane, and the rest is history.
It's crazy. So they recalled the cover because it was a little bit too close to home. They put this one in its place, which is actually a different photo shot altogether.
Yeah, it is.
From the same session, but so I knew for years you couldn't find this cover anywhere.
And most of these guys are gone.
Just about everybody's gone in that picture except for Gary Rossington.
Yep. And
he was like the last.
And drummer
Artemis Pyle still around.
Yeah. He never did rejoin Skinner. I don't know why. I never could figure that out.
He didn't come till like the third album.
Yeah.
Ed King recently passed too, which Ed King left after the third album, so he was not involved in the plane crash either.
And Collins,
Alan
Collins,
yep.
His life story after this was just tragic. I mean, I don't think he ever could live it down, the plane crash.
No, and I think he had other problems, like neurological problems as well. He's in a wheelchair. I think.
Oh well, yeah. Well, after he crashed his car into wrapped around a telephone pole or a tree or something like that. Yeah, and then he had complications from that. I think he actually died from the complications from being in the wheelchair.
Yeah, and I think once you have paralysis, I think that's kind of part and parcel that goes right along with it.
Yep.
So the altered cover, which is now the more rare one because they've since reissued this one for newer pressings. The back cover of the original one is now the front cover on this one.
I remember going to record shows back in the day before this was reissued, and these would always be sitting up on shelves.
Oh yeah,
with like $100,
yeah.
and I'm like,
yeah. And this is one I didn't get till years later. So great cuts on here. Huge hit. What's your name? That Smells. One of my favorite Skinner tunes. I Know a Little. You got that right. Ain't No Good Life's a good closer. It's kind of like a slow blues, just basically saying that. This whole being on the road thing, being in a band, it's not necessarily the best way to go.
Yep.
And I think Ronnie Van Zant was really kind of going in that direction. He was kind of cleaning up his act. And
I think he was just tired. Yeah. Yeah.
So Leonard Skinner, can't go wrong with those guys. Great stuff that they did.
All right, these next two albums easily could have been in my top 10. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure both of these were in my top 10 in my other video. But I'm going to go...
Oh, yeah. I was actually surprised at that one.
I love this record.
Yep.
Absolutely love this record. Angel's third album. This is When Heaven Is on Earth. Always loved their presentation, their artwork.
How many bands have tried to successfully do that? It reads the same upwards as
their logo,
down as regular.
everything. The logo, even the photo, it's all mirrored.
Anyone who's tried it since has failed miserably.
Yeah.
This is the best logo for that.
And the original album came with a poster.
Yep.
That was also mirrored.
I think I got it.
I know you got it because I remember seeing it. But it was the first album was very proggy, very keyboardy, not heavy, but I love the album, especially the song Tower. The second album, there it is. There's the poster. Yep. Again, cool. It's mirrored, so you can turn it upside down. It's the same thing.
We got Punky right in the middle. Oh, Punky!
Punky's out there touring. He's on the road.
With Frank Domino.
The two of them are doing their solo thing together, and they come out in each other's sets and do Angel songs.
And
so
this
very
is
cool.
This is the last one with bass player Mickey Jones, I believe.
Yes, it was. So anyhow, songs on here. Can You Feel It? Heavy song, so great. And his vocals, just like I don't know how to explain it, but
he just had a very crisp, clean voice.
But it was high, but it didn't sound like anybody else.
No,
you know, like
really.
like John Anderson. Nobody sounds like John Anderson. No. Nobody quite sounds
like Frank
Domino. No. Nobody does. On the Rocks. Oh, my favorite song in here is actually an old Bucks song, but White Lightning. Awesome song. It's a song written by Punky and no, I'm gonna forget his name now. Singer from Bucks who also sang in the Joe Perry project. Ralph Mormon.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I actually liked it. Now, I didn't know that at the time. When this came out, I thought it was an Angel song. I had no clue it was a cover.
You just recently told me about Bucks.
Yeah,
I didn't know about it.
I actually like the original song better. It's actually a little heavier, whereas this one's a little more... Angel were glossy. I mean, that's just what they were.
They were like the antithesis to Kiss at the time.
Yes, they were. And their stage show was just as epic.
Yeah. And but kind of like the opposite.
Yeah, it was
like
all,
they were the
white and...
They were the yin to Kiss's yang.
Disappearing on stage and reappearing on stage, and the giant angel in the background. And I mean, I love that angel. I mean, even considered getting it tattooed on me. Not just because of the band.
Do a big one on your back, man.
Yeah, but it's just such a cool looking angel.
Yeah.
But anyhow, third album from
them. To me, it looks like
record.
I've seen pictures of like the Ark of the Covenant with big flourishes and gold. What do they call that? Filigree on it, and I always pictured like the two angel heads on it as looking like that.
Yeah, anyhow, I just think it's great. This is actually the same angel that was on the front cover, but the logo didn't come around till the second album. But.
Right. And on the second album, the angel actually had devil horns on it.
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah, well, yeah. The one horn or the one stripe. This one up here was just
they colored it red because it was a hell of a band.
Hell of a band, yeah.
Yeah. All kinds of crap they could do with that. All right. Oh, this is a killer record. If I don't know what to say about Rainbow on Stage, this is one of those iconic 70s live sets that's just massive. Probably Rainbow, the Dio era of Rainbow, this was their peak for sure. They had just released Rainbow Rising,
which is freaking awesome.
Touring on that, and I mean they've got stuff from both of the first two albums, but they also do a great version of Mistreated on here.
Which Dio obviously liked so much he continued to do way into his solo career.
Oh yeah, and I mean I love Mistreated, and to me it was always a Coverdale song, but Ronnie James Dio definitely put his own stank on it.
He made this song his own, yeah.
Totally. And there's even a Yardbirds track on here. You know, Still I'm Sad is the closure. Great set. If you have never heard this era of Rainbow, grab this or Rainbow Rising, and you're just gonna. It's great stuff. This is the peak of that era of the band.
And in my opinion, it's the peak of the band.
Yeah.
not that I don't like some of the '80s stuff, but
yeah, I mean
they never quite touched on the greatness of Rising.
I mean, the first album had it was like basically Elf with Ritchie Blackmore.
Right, it was pretty much.
Then by the time the second,
but then Rising was just
like a
huge step up.
We had Tony Carey on keyboards, Cozy Powell on drums, Ronnie James Dio on vocals, Jimmy Bain on bass, and Ritchie Blackmore. Wow.
How many? We lost Jimmy Bain.
Jimmy Bain's gone, Ronnie's gone, Cozy Powell's gone.
Yep.
Richie's still kicking, and I assume Tony Carey is.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah.
Same lineup as on this, basically. Great live.
So then you do Rising and the live album, which, like I said, the pinnacles are up here.
Yep.
And then they released the next album was great. I Love Rock and Roll.
Long Live Rock and Roll.
Long Live Rock and Roll. But then after that, it was just like it was a steady climb down, in my opinion.
So
I liked it, but it was never quite.
Well, they had 3 different singers.
Yeah.
The next album was the Graham Bonnet one, right?
Yep.
Oh my God, Graham Bonnet can sing like a motherfucker. I just saw him with Michael Schenker Group.
Oh yeah.
The dude's got to be in his 70s, and he sounds amazing. I gained so much respect for Graham Bonnet last time I saw him. So good.
This next album, everybody's going to be shocked that this is not in our top 10, especially knowing me.
Yep.
As I am just a fanatic of this guy. This is Ted Nugent, Cat Scratch
Fever.
I love Nugent. This album is just one of my all-time favorite records. Why is it not in my top 10? Because the top 10 is just that good.
Yeah, it is.
And it's also a mixture of Randy's and I's opinions.
But we're almost there.
Yeah.
This would be like. Well, the top 10 is technically a top 12.
Yes, but anyhow.
So these next two are like our 13.
If this would have made Randy's top 12, it would have been in our top 10.
Yeah, and this is it's just not one of my favorite Nugent albums.
But it has some of his most iconic songs on there.
Cuts.
Okay,
sure.
we lost. We got Derek St. Holmes back in the band after losing him on Free For All to Meatloaf, yeah, who was not even known at the time.
No, but he did a great job on that album.
But there's 2 of his most iconic songs that he still plays live at every show. Of course, the title cut, which was his first big single.
Yep.
He was selling out arenas. He was one of the biggest names in the mid '70s, but he didn't have a hit single.
Cat Scratch
Fever became
his signature song.
Yep.
First song I ever heard by him.
And I remember, even still, I hear people saying, "Oh, he was just a B-rate guy," or it's a B-rate. And I think a lot of that people just don't like the band now.
Well, the guy's got a big mouth.
But the point of the matter is, in the '70s, he was huge. He was.
Oh hell yeah!
He was a stadium band, and he was huge.
You smoked. The guy had friggin' energy to spare. It's like ADHD unbridled.
And he did it without the hits.
Yep. And he did it without speed.
Yep.
He was drug free.
Drug free.
Drink free. Just nuts, man.
But then the other song that's on here that is one that is iconic is Wang Dang Sweet Poontang. Wang Dang Sweet Poontang. Thank you, everybody. Thanks so much.
some of the deeper cuts on here that are just kick ass are Death by Misadventure.
Oh, absolutely.
Great one. Homebound is a cool instrumental.
Yep.
That I think he played it on Gonzo too, or no?
No.
The Homebound. Okay. Cool instrumental. And
yes.
Fist Fighting Son of a Gun's pretty cool too.
And then what was the other one? Thousand Knives. I always like that one too. I think it's on there, right? Thousand Knives.
Yep, it is. And Out of Control's on here.
What his box set was called, Out of Control.
Yep. Iconic gatefold.
Yep,
for sure. Freak show. I mean, this was the start of those classic covers that had that awesome, that cursive logo artwork and stuff.
Yep.
This was the one that preceded Double Live Gonzo, and that just kind of Double Live Gonzo's one of my favorite live albums ever.
If we were to do a top '70s live albums, it would definitely be in our top 10, I think.
Yeah. If not top five.
Yeah, it would be for me for sure. All right, so now we're up to our top list. So.
Nope, I got one more.
Oh, you do have one more.
Yeah.
So I didn't see that one.
Which this is an album I got into. Is this mine?
Yes.
Okay. Much later. Still one of my favorite albums by Jethro Tull. Songs from the Wood. Great collection of songs here. Title track, Jack in the Green, Cup of Wonder, Ring Out Solstice Bells, Velvet Green, I love. The Whistler was the song that made me fall in love with this album. It's just a great set of songs by Tull. Very, very strong album.
Would you say it was a very heavy album, a very hard album? To me, that one was more, not melancholy, it's...
I don't know. Heavy, not heavy like Aqualung was heavy.
Right.
But it's just so damn strong.
Yeah,
it's such a strong album, and I think that's why I wanted to put it in here. And you know, we all know that Jethro Tull technically is metal because they did win the Grammy for metal in 1989.
Yes, of course.
So Jethro Tull are
over Metallica. So
yes, grandfathered into heavy metal.
Yes. And then Jethro Tull played a big part in your life for quite a while, right?
Tull?
Tull, yeah. I mean,
hell yeah.
Because his wife passed away.
Oh yeah, Tull was probably.
I remember.
I don't know why.
That's all he was listening to was Tull.
The first few weeks, all I could listen to was this acoustic Jethro Tull collection. I don't know why. I think it was because the music's so strong and so beautiful that it's all I could handle. And then, because then I segued right into Yes. It was like Tull and Yes for months.
I remember
after my wife died. It was like the only thing that kept me kind of.
Yep.
I don't know.
There's something
weird.
about going through an emotional period in your life where you attach on to an artist, and
it's not because she liked Jethro Tull or Yes.
Yeah.
That's the funny part. In fact, she hated Yes.
When I was living with my mother-in-law for 6 months and she was past and dying, and I had to take care of her. Journey.
Yep.
I never liked Journey, but there was something about those early Journey records
that there's like a beauty there in the midst of all the friggin' shit that you're going through.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's weird. I didn't want to listen to like Venom. I didn't want to feed that shit. It was like it was bad enough all on its own.
Yep. You know? All right, so now we're going to get into our other list.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and stop the video real
hefty.
quick, and we will cut it here and get into the next video.
Yeah, I got to piss anyway.
All right.